As the years go by and making video content has been mainstreamed, your 10-year-old family computer will not keep up with the hype, especially if you want to do a little bit of gaming during your off time. In this video we'll be going over my new video editing build and testing it against my old Dell Optiplex 790. It's a cruel and unfair battle between the blue team and the red team. This video is brought to you by Stealth Energy. I introduce you to the new sugar-free, energy-inducing, thirst-quenching, brain-stimulant energy drink from my new company, Stealth Energy. Learn more at the link down below. The two most important things that you'll need for an editing PC is simple: cores and RAM. How much of each would depend on a couple of factors. What kind of editing software are you going to use? And what kind of footage are you going to edit and how? Adobe Premiere Pro favors Intel CPUs as it is slightly better optimized for image processing. And for your footage and how, performance will greatly differ between editing 1080p clips with heavy amounts of motion graphics versus 4K footage with simple cuts and no motion graphics at all. We are going to be building to Premiere Pro's system requirements, but we'll follow this loosely as you'll see later on. The guys over at Puget Systems actually benchmarked different Intel and AMD CPUs for Adobe Premiere Pro, and that the top performing CPU is the Intel i9-9980XE 18-core processor. If you actually take a look at the CPUs that they benchmark, you'll find that more cores does not exactly mean more performance. With Premiere Pro, it will use whatever you have, but you'll get diminishing marginal returns after about 8 core/16 threads. Sony Vegas Pro can utilize more cores, but it doesn't scale very well past 16 cores as thread. The bigger benefit for video work is enough RAM and fast enough storage. Outside of these situations, performance is going to be pretty close between AMD Ryzen 3rd generation and the Intel Ninth Gen processors. Something else to keep in mind, however, is that performance is only part of the question. There are a number of other considerations that you might want to keep in mind. On the Intel side, the Z390 platform has been available for quite some time, which means that most of the bugs and issues have been worked out. In Puget Systems' experience over the recent years, Intel has also simply tends to be more stable overall than AMD, and is actually the only way to get Thunderbolt support to actually work. For AMD, the X570 platform is very new, and there will be a period of time where bugs will need to be ironed out. However, AMD is much better about allowing you to use newer CPUs in older motherboards, so if upgrading your CPU is something you'll likely do in the next few years, AMD is a strong choice. In addition, the X570 is currently the only platform to support PCIe 4.0. This won't directly affect performance in most cases, but it will open up options to use insanely fast storage drives as they become available. We actually went with the Ryzen 3 3200G. This is a very good budget APU for the price, and it will dominate the assembly price Intel i3-9100F. Since Ryzen performs much better with faster RAM, we also paired the 3200G with 16GB of 32 MHz RAM from T-Force. Along with the build, we used the B450 DS5H motherboard, 256GB NVMe M.2 SSD from Team Group, yeah, that's right, Team Group, as the boot drive, an RX 570 8GB overclock edition from ASRock, a 250GB SSD, and a 1TB storage hard drive. We'll be comparing that to the Dell Optiplex 790 with the i3-3200 CPU, 8GB of 2600 MHz RAM, GTX 1050, 128GB SSD boot drive, and a 1TB storage hard drive. Now let's get into the gaming benchmarks. We tested these systems with GTA 5, Haven benchmarks, and Cinebench. Unfortunately for the Dell Optiplex, we couldn't even get GTA 5 to launch. It wouldn't even show up with anything other than showing that I was running, then crashing. Not prompting, not flashing anything. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think down below, and if I should do an all Intel build version comparing that against this video editing PC. Let me know.